Good evening, everyone. I'm Afia Hagan, and I'm delighted to host this campaign launch for the New Deal for FE campaign from the University and College Union headquarters in London. And we are just over a month away from the first autumn budget announcement by the new Labour government. But I want to start off by introducing a familiar and a well-known face. Of course, it is Jo Grady, University and College Union General Secretary. Hi, Jo.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Right, tonight we are hoping to bring you an inspiring and insightful session, as usual, as we launch the New Deal for FE campaign. Now, we are going to hear from the UCU President and Chair of the National Education Committee, that's Maxine Luby, who we have here.
Well, it's David Hunter, yes, and I might say Luby, yes.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
And like you so rightly said, we are going to hear from the UCU Vice President and Chair of Further Education Committee, David Hunter, as well. Thank you so much for coming. And of course, we'll be discussing how everyone, every single person here in the room and of course on the call can play their part and get involved. So just to kickstart this launch event, please let us know where you're watching from and of course how long you've been a member of UCU. Whilst you guys are all doing that, let's watch a short video which sets out the views of FE educators working across the sector.
I've been teaching since 1990, seen the good times and the bad. This is the bad.
Each staff member is probably doing the work of 1.5 people.
I could never do what was needed to be done for the job to be done well.
Young teachers are not staying in FE anymore.
I can't bring myself to look at my pay packet anymore because it's embarrassing.
FE staff go from one college to another.
I could earn more working in Asda's.
Working class students are the easiest to ignore.
FE has been one of the hardest hit sectors in the last 14 years under austerity.
Stripped of money, stripped of resources, stripped of attention.
I was hoping things would change, there'd be some funding.
The fact that the pay awards that went to teachers weren't extended to FE were a real slap in the face.
I feel like we're out there on our own.
Once you start paying us 10 grand a year less, it's cheaper to just keep doing that because we show that we'll do the work.
We're looking for change at government level.
The new government needs to put significant resources into FE.
Committing to levels of investment but also committing to the proper delivery at the local level.
We want parity of pay everywhere.
England remains the last place where that gap has to be closed.
At the moment, we negotiate with our individual college principals.
So our case for investment in FE is not just an economic one, but it's a social cohesion one.
Education is at the heart of our country's renewal.
Some of these kids, the streets are calling.
We are that second chance for everyone.
We're coming close to losing it if we don't invest in it, and I think the best way for us to push for that is in a union.
Really, really impactful there to hear about what people are going through and of course their opinions. And UCU members have first-hand experience of the issues right across the further education sector. So, Jo, over to you. In your view, what can we expect from this particular campaign to push for progress and the improvements that we so desperately need to see?
Well, so first of all, I want to say welcome everyone who's joined us, particularly our FE members. This is the launch event for a new deal for FE, but obviously if you've been in this union for a while or if you've worked in FE for a while, you will know this is not the beginning or will ever be the end of our campaigning in further education. As a union, we've been successful in Wales and more recently in Northern Ireland in campaigning and lobbying for more funding, and it is now time that England introduces fair funding for FE. In terms of who this campaign is for, it's for every single FE member, it's for every student, it's for our communities, and it is for our politicians. We hear politicians frequently talking about the importance of FE. Well, now it's time to put, your money where your mouths are. So this is about not just building pressure politically, not just raising the profile of FE, but also putting pressure on politicians, but also the Association of Colleges. It's around a set of demands that are well articulated in our branches about, workload, about respect, but about how we need to ensure that anything that is negotiated on a national level in England is implemented for every single worker in every single college. So we are working towards binding national bargaining. That has been the goal of our union now for some years. And I really think we are getting there. England is the outlier now. It is the only jurisdiction in the UK that hasn't committed or hasn't already had parity of pay between schools and colleges. This is a reality that is within our grasp. It is certainly much more of a reality now we've had a change in government. And today is about kickstarting this campaign and letting everyone know what we're doing.
I mean, it sounds really exciting, but why do you think that this particular time is the time for the New Deal for FE campaign? Why is it needed right now? And why is this the time to launch it?
A few reasons. Again, people who work in FE, this won't be a shock, but for those of you watching who don't, there is an estimated 23% pay gap between schools and colleges. That can be about £9,000 monetary difference for people. And if you work in a college, you could be teaching the exact same curriculum as one of your colleagues who works in a sixth form. It cannot be right that this happens. FE hemorrhages staff in a way that no other sector in education does. And if Labour are serious about a decade of renewal, then they have to get serious about closing that pay gap. Our colleges are not just hubs of their communities, they are foundation stones of growth. They're going to be essential for delivering decarbonisation and a Green New Deal and a better environment and meeting those environmental targets. But also, as we've seen recently, this country desperately needs social cohesion. We cannot continue years of austerity that have stripped ambition, hope, educational access out of these communities, out of working class communities. So it's been crucial for anyone who works in FE for years, but I don't think anybody can deny the time and now and why this has to happen.
I mean, it's absolutely clear that the situation across further education is in need of desperate change. So how can UCU members get involved and contribute to this campaign?
Lots of ways. I mean, being an active member in your branch, if you are a member but you're not kind of active, the first thing I would say to you is check in with your branch, get involved in the committee, see what can be done, particularly in our FE branches. Our branches, aren't they, Maxine? They are always looking for people to get involved. But there are a number of other practical things you can do. We have a petition. Sign that, speak to your colleagues, speak to your students, speak to people in the college and get them signing that petition. We also have a template letter. It was developed actually by one of our members. Make sure that you are using that. It's about the New Deal for FE. Write to your MP, write to the Secretary of State, outlining our demands, and also a date for your diary, the 23rd of October, we are doing a lobby of Parliament in London. We want members involved in that. We want support for that. There's going to be more information coming through to you. Get ready for that. But really, we, as a union, have been successful before at getting extra funding for FE. It's one of the reasons, we had an unexpected but not enough pay award a year or two back for FE members. As I've said already, we are looking to replicate what we have seen in Northern Ireland and what we have seen in Wales. So we need a pay lift of at least 11%, and we need a starting salary of £30,000. We can do these things. We need to keep building the pressure. We need to keep building the campaign. I'm really up for it. I know you're really up for it. And we've got a lot of other things that we'll be doing.
So Jo, the UCU is at the Labour Party conference next week. But they're not in opposition anymore.
Nope.
They're now in government. So how are you going to take this campaign to them at conference?
We're going to be really relentless at the Labour Party conference. I'm sure I'm speaking for every FE member watching this to say I was absolutely horrified to see that in their, first few weeks in government, Labour made it clear that there wasn't any money for FE. FE workers are the lowest paid of any education workers in the UK. To be elected and say that there's nothing for those workers, I think was beyond disappointing. To learn that it's because we don't have a pay review body was beyond disappointing. You know, it's essentially saying to college workers, you already have a 23% pay gap between you and schools. You don't have a pay review body because you don't have national bargaining, and that's going to be the reason why we're not offering you anything. So we are meeting with Labour. We are pushing them to go further. We are going to be pushing for more in the budget that will be coming out in October. We are going to Labour conference. We are hosting fringe events about the importance of FE. We are championing FE at every possible moment, because Labour cannot say that they want renewal, that they want social cohesion, and fail to invest in FE. Nothing will happen without FE. So we are there, we're in their faces. I know there's going to be other UCU members at Labour Party conference. Come and say hello if you're there.
Thanks for that, Joy. And last week you were at TUC, isn't that right? And of course you'll have spoken to other education general secretaries, and they must see that the pay award difference is completely unfair. Do they agree?
Yeah, I mean, so when we were at the TUC, we were speaking with Daniel Kabede, who's the General Secretary of the NEU, and Patrick Roach, who's the NASUWT, and others. And there's just no hiding it. You know, there is no hiding that there is a total unfairness by saying, you know, as rightly, teachers should get a pay award. But if you work in a college, you know, if you're one of the people who perform miracles every day with people who, you know, have been written off in some cases, you don't deserve that. Everybody understands it's unfair. Everybody understands it's unsustainable. We actually, David, I'm sure when he speaks might say something about this. We passed a motion talking about education, talking about college workers. TUC and every delegate there were backing our college workers who are taking strike action, and it's worth giving a shout out to those of them that are. People understand this is unsustainable, that it is not fair, that England is the outlier, and people are backing this campaign. And whether it's politically, whether it's going to be on a picket line, our members will win pay parity with their school colleagues. That is the agenda of this union, and to get national binding bargaining. And it would be nice if Labour did that without us having to scrap with them. But if we have to, we will.
Thanks for that, Joy. There's clearly a whole lot for UCU members and branches to get involved in to help propel this campaign forward. But now I want to hear from Maxine Moody, UCU president, about some of the goals of the campaign in both the short term and the long term.
Thanks, Safiwa. Yes, I've got a particular, conviction behind this because, as you know, I'm an FE lecturer myself. So all the things that Joe's already said sits really close to my heart. I understand how difficult it is in FE, working in FE. I understand that our workloads are unsafe. We do not get paid what we're supposed to get paid for the work we do. We are professionals in our fields of expertise, and none of that is recognised. And it's now that needs to start changing. We've got a number of goals which are important, but the first thing I will say, and this is a short-term goal that everyone can get behind here and now, is our petition. I think we've got something like 30,000 FE members in our union. Every member needs to sign that petition. And it's not just FE members. We're talking about your mum, your dad, aunt, uncle, nephew, niece, grandmother, all those people. Get everybody to sign that petition, because it's really going to support our campaign and the work that we're trying to do. I'm not going to repeat what Joe said about pay parity in schools, because we know that it's unacceptable that as qualified educators, we are well behind where school teachers are, and we should be having to fight for that. That should be a given. And I know Labour constantly goes on about this new skills agenda, which is great. The only people who can actually deliver that skills agenda is FE. So if they're serious about delivering that agenda, they need to pay us what we are worth and be clear about their understanding of what we actually bring to the table, not just for local communities, but the economy as well. So it's really important that we continue to fight for pay parity with schools. There are a number of other things as well that we're fighting for. There's inequalities across the board. For example, we need to close those pay gaps. We need to close them in terms of disability and ethnic pay gaps. We've got a long way to go where that's concerned, but we're going to continue to fight for that. And for me, in terms of the Labour government and what they need to do if they really are supportive of working class people and also education, is they need to acknowledge that we are here, they need us, we are the only ones that can deliver for them, and they need to pay us what we're worth. And also respect that those who work in FE are professionals. We are experts in our field. We turn lives around. This is what we do all day, every day. And it's time that the Labour government recognised that and got behind us. So there are a number of things that we can do. As I said, please, 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 the last thing I want you to do before you go to bed tonight is make sure you get as many signatures on that pledge. This is the launch of our campaign, which I'm absolutely delighted to be part of. Very close to my heart, as you can imagine. It's the start of things to come. It's not the end. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lobby, we've got a petition. Continue to fight in your branches, continue to sign up members. And I know for sure if we stick together and we work together, we're going to win this.
Thank you, Maxine. Super inspiring to hear about yourself, your journey. And I think you've really set the tone for hope and change there.
Yeah.
And everyone signed that petition. Now we are going to hear from the UCU Vice President, David, about how the New Deal for FE came about and the potential of better our workforce.
Hi there. Sorry, I'm having to join online. Hopefully there's not too many technical hitches. It's a little bit jumpy here where I am. But first thing I want to do is just give solidarity out to any ETC members that might be on the call. That's colleges in the north of England who are on strike at the moment, who are currently striking for fair pay. So solidarity to them. And just looking at the comments that are coming in, we have a real spread of members here for people who've been in FE for 25 years and people who've just been in for a month. And for those who've just been in for a month and it might be feeling like it's a bit bad news, I work in FE, I'm a lecturer, and the reason I work in FE is because I love it and the job is amazing. And so I found the job that I'm going to stay in until they can finally just shove me out if they can. But despite it being amazing, we really don't get the pay or the recognition we need. And more importantly, our students don't get the parity. It's not only about pay parity with teachers, it's about our students getting the parity with the students who are in schools, who are in sixth forms. It's that parity as well. We teach for our students and we also fight for our students through our union. Okay, that was just a bit. I'm on here to speak about the New Deal, and I just wanted to give some background about the New Deal so you understand it. So the New Deal comes about really through three things. The first is policy, the policy of the union decided by the membership. So branches sent delegates to a special sector conference. That's where all FE delegates from FE colleges got together and we debated things and we made some decisions about the way we were going to go forward. And what was decided was that we were going to put our resources and put our power into branches, into your branch reps, your branch officers, if we have officers and reps on this call, which I'm sure we do, put it into you and put our resources there, because that is where our focus is going to be this year. So we're doing that through the New Deal. Branches will have local pay claims in, they will be starting to negotiate halfway through, some will have settled and some will be going into dispute. So that's where we decided to put our focus, and then branches would have the choices about what they accepted and what they didn't. So our democracy and our power is all based around our branches, our branch reps. And so the New Deal recognises that with our local pay claim policy for the immediate pay round. The second thing that started that was the failure. The New Deal came out of the failure of national negotiations with the Association of Colleges. So if you don't know, I'm sure maybe the member who's only been in FE for a month might not know, nationally, we negotiate with a body called the Association of Colleges. And they're the kind of representative of the colleges around the country. And year after year, we go into negotiations with them, and year after year, they recommend meager amounts of pay rise. And we have they haven't actually, the national pay scale, which we have, they haven't updated for a long time. That national negotiation is very frustrating. And the reason why is because the AOC, the Association of Colleges, they don't have the power to increase your pay. They don't have the power to cut down your workload. They don't have the power to address the equality gaps, because all they can do is produce recommendations and guidelines. They can't do anything binding. They just don't have the power to improve your terms and conditions, to do anything about it. So the New Deal is a recognition that only colleges can do that. And that's again why we're putting those focused resources into colleges, into college reps, into college negotiations. Because we believe there are things we can win at college level on pay, on workload, on closing equality gaps. And we think it's too important to win those things for our members to leave it to AOC negotiations. So that's why I've got immediate focus on local claims. Third thing is that brought together the New Deal for FE is the decades-long underfunding for FE. Now, we know that there are things we can win at a local level. We can improve terms and conditions for our members there. But to get that real change that we need, we can't get it from the colleges, we can't get it from the AOC. To get that real, full New Deal, we need to get it from the government. So that's where our campaigning comes in. Our petition that's been mentioned, letters to MPs, which I think Josh is on the stream. He's somewhere in the background there. He started and wrote those. So thanks, Josh. Our lobby of Parliament on the 23rd, and behind the scenes as well, our UCU staff are representing our interests to the Department for Education, to people there every week, putting that pressure on to try and get a new deal for FE. And it's a prime time to do it, because we have a new government who came in asking for change, talking about skills agenda, talking about renewing our economy and building for growth. You can't do that without FE. You can't do that without skills training. You can't do that without our members and staff in FE. So we can make that argument, but if that argument doesn't cut across, if we're still invisible to the DFE for some reason, to the new government, then the New Deal for FE it's not just a short-term plan, it's short, medium and long-term. So short-term, we've got the local claims, we've got a petition. Medium-term, we're doing our campaigning with the government. And Josh, that is you. And long-term, we're also building our power. We're building our power. So after we settle these claims this year, we'll start leading that conversation with our members, saying, this is what we can win locally, and this is what we did win locally. But to win big, we've got to win nationally, and to win nationally, we've got to need national action. So we've got, I love the New Deal for FE. It is a strategic plan. It has short-term, medium-term, and long-term aims. And what we need you to do, everyone on this call, is to make sure you sign that petition, but also you talk to your colleagues, talk to members and non-members of UCU especially. Talk to them about the petition, talk to them about us being invisible, get them to sign the petition, ask them to talk to their colleagues. We need to spread this out so we get everyone we can signing this petition, and then we can follow that up and talk to those people again, talk to those non-members again, and say, well, if we want real change, we've got to get involved in our local claim, get involved in letters, the lobby, and really, we need to join our union. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, David. That was a really helpful reflection and insight into the strategic direction and the path towards improvement. And of course, some real encouragement in there as well. Now, we've had a few questions in, so I'd just like to put those to Joe and Maxine. I hope that you are ready. So the first one is, the National Education Union is taking an indicative ballot. When will UCU do the same, Joe?
Shall we do that one? Yeah. So the NEU, the National Education Union, is balloting their 6th form members, and I'm sure on behalf of everyone on the panel, you would agree, let's share solidarity to the NEU members who are, balloting on pay. What I will say is our campaign for a new deal for FE doesn't stop any UCU branch from having a dispute with their employer over pay. That's not what this campaign is about. As we know, national bargaining in FE, it doesn't work. And David just did a really, really good job of explaining exactly why that's the case. Fixing that is a central part of our campaign. So yes, we might be disappointed about what's just happened with pay. And as I say, solidarity to the NEU, but this campaign is about much more than this one individual moment. New Deal for FE is about building a significant number of UCU branches to the point that, when we are calling for national bargaining, we've got the majority of branches with us. And actually, the AOC is saying, no, you're right, binding national bargaining is much better than the industrial chaos that could happen otherwise. What we know from the last 2 years of Respect FE is that even when we've been having, half of our branches, it hasn't been enough to move the employers. So this is an incredibly important campaign. Importantly within the union, and again, as David just said, this has been decided democratically by you as members via our structures at a meeting earlier this year. So full solidarity with the NEU, but as things stand, this is our campaign backed by you to deliver something much, much bigger, which is binding national bargaining that delivers for every single member. Do you know what? Whether a UCU member or not, for every college.
Second question that we've had in is, whilst we keep up this fight, how can we help colleagues keep hope alive?
Colleagues, in terms of members, listen, any fight's going to be a battle, isn't it? And we know that. But this is why this campaign is so important, because it's about bringing all our members with us. We know that some branches have got really strong active branches and an active membership. We know others don't have that so much. And the important thing about this campaign is knowing that those branches that may only have one rep in their branch is supported throughout this. It's supported through our structures. It's supported by our team of UCU staff so that they don't feel alone and they don't feel like they're going through this battle on their own. Because as a member and as someone who's worked in a branch as a rep, it can become very tiring. The other thing that we need to also make sure that we're doing is making sure that where we can, we're linking up branches regionally so that they can get that support together and work together and plan together. But what I do want to say is that no branch should ever feel that they're on their own in this. There is support throughout. You've got my email address. We've got the head of further education, Paul Bridge, who is behind this 100% and supporting us through this. Please get in touch with us, because if you need that support to continue what you're doing in your branch, then that's what we're here to do. So hard as it is fighting this battle, you're never on your own. You should never feel that you're on your own. We're going to win this, but we're going to win it together.
Can I just add one thing, actually? Because I think I think when you're in the eye of a storm and when things are as bleak as they are in FE, and we heard it in the campaign video, it is worth reminding ourselves of what the vision of this campaign is. And the vision of this campaign is to focus on the government and get them to pay up. It is to remind everyone of the need for national bargaining, so no college and no worker is left behind. And it is to remind people of the need for pay parity. Our union in other parts of the UK have demonstrated that when we fight, we win those things. This is a winnable battle now in England. So if you need to keep hope alive, you just look to Wales, you just look to Northern Ireland, where our union has already done it. Use the petition to kickstart the campaign in your branch. We have branch briefings that are happening in October. Come along to one of those, talk to people, get involved, get someone from your branch coming to the lobby on the 23rd of October. A new deal for FE is possible. Don't get downhearted. Don't lose hope that it isn't, because it is.
How are UCU planning to influence the private providers of FE like Novus or People
Plus. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so this is our prison educators. I want to say a big shout out to all the prison educators who are tuning in at the moment. They work in the worst conditions possible in education, bar none. Let's just put that on the table. What you may not know is that we took a motion, and I believe it's the first motion we've ever taken to the TUC for prison education, and that passed. So that's a really good start. We have got a prison education campaign that we are launching as well. We will be telling you more about that, so please, keep an eye out for the information regarding that. The lobby on October the 23rd is about all our members in FE. So we're talking about prison educators, adult community education, and members who work in colleges. So we are seriously committed to making sure that prison educators, who many of them work for private providers, and shockingly so, the conditions are appalling. We're bringing them along with us as well. Again, there's no outliers in this campaign. It's about bringing all our members, whether it's colleges, adult community education, or prison education, along with us. So there's going to be more. We're going to be doing more with prison education. We've got some more events that are coming up, but keep the 23rd of October in your mind, and we'll be getting back to you with more about the Unlocking Futures campaign for prison educators shortly too.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone, to Maxine, to Joe, and to David as well for joining us. We've had over 1,000 views, so loads of people tuning in. So thank you so much.
Amazing.
For tuning
well done,
in.
Effie.
Yeah,
tuning in
and supporting. That's really, really incredible.
And well done. Not just thank you to you, but also thank you to the team of UCU staff who are with
Behind
us.
the
And
you can't see, but
put
they are
some work in. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. Please keep on the lookout for more updates, as Maxine said, from UCU over the coming weeks of all the events. Remember to sign that petition as well. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Maxine, Joe, and David. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.
Thanks, everyone. Sign the pledge.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank
New
you.
deal for FE is possible.
It is.